So now we go with the structure of eye, right children? So we had seen the location. Now if we take a section of eye, what are the structures we can see? So before we proceed with the section, now we have one layer which runs on the eyeball, which is actually externally visible. Though we cannot see it, but we can feel it. Okay, there is a layer which is known as conjunctiva, which runs from upper eyelid on the eyeball, lower eyelid. How does it go? From upper eyelid on the eyeball, lower eyelid. So this is what is conjunctiva. When you have some infection of eye, we call it as conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis. Okay, conjunct N is there. Usually students miss this N. Okay, this N, this is very important. Students write this as conjunctiva, but it is conjunctiva. N is there. So conjunctiva is a layer which runs from the upper eyelid on the eyeball, lower eyelid, which actually we can see when we get some infection in the eye. Or if you rub your eyes vigorously, you can see some fold in the eyeball, like externally, not in the inside eyeball. You can feel some roughness when your eyelid is moving, some ups and downs. So that is caused in the conjunctiva layer. Okay. Then we go to the internal structures. There are 3 layers, children. One is sclera. Okay. 2, choroid. And 3, retina. So eyeball has 3 major layers. First one is sclera. So sclera is this layer. Okay. It is very tough. It is hard. To some extent, it talks about the shape of the eyeball. When it comes to the front, it bulges. See, I have taken the sclera in the front and it is bulging. Okay, it is bulging and this region gets the name cornea. So sclera, when it comes to the front, it bulges, it becomes thinner, it gets the name cornea. Okay, when we talk about eye transplantation, for a few people, vision is some defect in the vision occurs due to defect in cornea. Such patients, corneal transplantation can be done. Cornea is changed. Of course, for that, it can be done only if the person's total eye is removed. So not necessarily the eyeball has to be changed. The corneal transplantation is enough. Okay. So what is cornea? It is the bulging layer of sclera in the front. Only in the front it is bulging. Right. The second layer is choroid. Choroid, can you see choroid? It is muscular layer. When this choroid comes to the front, children, it here in this region, it just divides to form the ciliary muscles. So this is choroid. It is coming in the front like this. Okay. It is coming like this in the front. Okay. But here it divides to form structure known as ciliary muscle. What is the function of this ciliary muscle? This ciliary muscle in turn forms, so I'll draw here. If this is a ciliary muscle, okay, which is coming from, okay, this is choroid. Ciliary muscle is coming like this. This forms ligaments like this. So this is ciliary muscle and this is suspensory ligament. And this is choroid, of course. Okay. So the choroid comes like this in the front. Okay. This is known as iris. Choroid is coming in the front like this, gets the name iris. Iris is nothing but the black part of the eye. Okay. If this is the eye, Okay, this region which is black, this is what is iris. Okay, so that's why this is iris. Choroid, the second layer, is coming to the front. It comes till here and gets a name iris. I have not joined these two places. If you remember, if you can see, there is a gap here. Okay, so this is iris, this is also iris. And here they form what we call it as ciliary muscle. So this is ciliary muscle. Ciliary muscle will branch like this. Okay, it is coming like this here and here. It gets the name suspensory ligament. Okay, this gets the name suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament. The suspensory ligaments are holding the crystalline lens. This is the lens of the eye. Okay, choroid, ciliary muscle, suspensory ligaments. So suspensory ligaments are holding the lens like this. Okay, yeah. The third layer is retina. Retina is highly sensitive layer because it has the sensory cells of vision. What are the sensory cells of vision? We'll discuss in detail later. First, structure. Function of all these parts we'll discuss later. Right, children? Okay. Here I said it has left some gap. This gap is known as pupil. Iris leaves a gap. The gap gets the name pupil. Okay. Through this opening or gap or aperture, only the light is going to enter. Right, children? Then there is a gap between cornea and lens. This is cornea, this is lens. This gap is known as aqueous chamber. Which is aqueous chamber? The gap between cornea and the lens is aqueous chamber. This ball is known as, like, inside, this is a cavity. This is a ball. This ball is filled with aqueous humor and the chamber. The region is called as vitreous chamber. It is filled with vitreous humor. The region between cornea and lens is aqueous chamber. This ball is vitreous chamber. Okay. Aqueous chamber is filled with aqueous humor. Vitreous chamber is filled with vitreous humor. Right? And here we have the place from where the optic nerve is emerging. We have a point known as blind spot. Blind spot. It's a spot where there is no vision at all. Okay. And there is one part which has too many rods and cones. One particular region in retina where we have many sensory cells of vision. That is known as yellow spot. Okay. So I have introduced you these words. We'll talk about their structure, function in detail now. Right, children? Maybe I'll discuss this in the next video. Right? Till then,